Happy Monday, degenerate gamblers. Welcome back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. Your host, your boy, as always, here rocking the baby blues. Your boy, Clint here. We are coming off of the biggest winning week of 2025 that I've had sitting behind this chair. It's been a long grind, and I have gotten smashed for about a year and a half straight. We finally started putting a couple of footsteps in the right direction, and it all came together at UFC 314. So we're feeling good today. We're feeling good on a Monday. This is a break week, ladies and gentlemen. There is no UFC to be had here this week, but I was not going to leave you hanging without some sort of entertainment, some MMA related content that you can digest and enjoy on your Monday evening. You can always count on your boy to bring it home for you. Shout out to the chat, the real ones hanging out with me here on a no UFC week. My guy Dream in the chat. Jonathan Dixon saying, I just want to publicly admit I was wrong about Volk. Wasn't wrong about Diego. He came out exactly as I thought he would, but man, Volk is back. And Jonathan, first and foremost, I want to just tip the cap to you, my friend, because 90% of the people who live on the internet, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, X, YouTube, whatever, they're all allergic to admitting when they're wrong to something. The edit button is right there, and people will go back through YouTube comments and edit them. You know who I'm talking to. You're listening to the show right now. You'll go back and you'll just edit your comments. So, no, I wasn't wrong now. There's no public record that what I said was incorrect. Quit being babies. Quit being wussies out there. Be a man or woman or whatever you want to identify as. Stand by your words. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to learn, and it's okay to admit when you messed up and pivot when you need to. And people need to quit acting like they're allergic to being incorrect about something. There is zero personal growth that will ever take place if you can't admit that you're wrong about something. So thank you, Jonathan, for coming back around and saying that. First and foremost, guys, we're talking about gambling. We're talking about MMA. Jonathan, you really don't need to apologize unless you came after me and you were talking some serious shit about the pick or something like that. I will accept apology if you're talking shit. But if we just have a disagreement, really, there's no need to apologize being wrong. I'm wrong every single week. I'm with you, though. Diego actually really impressed me. What we're going to do tonight, you guys, is a recap of last week's UFC 314 event. I will apologize, everybody. I had a full-on show planned for you this evening. I was going to have just a full, thick, juicy piece of content for you guys to sink your teeth into on this non-betting week, and unfortunately grandma's in the hospital, so we're not going to be able to do that. I got to keep the show a little bit tight for you this evening, so we're going to do a recap of the event last week, and that'll be it. This will be a relatively short podcast this evening because I've got some family and personal things to attend to. Got to take care of everybody here on the homestand. So the fact that it's falling on like a no UFC week and I don't do a 2.5 hour type podcast is kind of a blessing. So we'll take the small wins when we get them. My guy Dixon saying, Clint, I signed a petition to the people that investigated James Krause to investigate Gene Silva for telling everyone he was going to bet the KO and then went out there and submitting Bryce. The man needs to be arrested. Yeah, we all absolutely donated on that Gene Silva KO, and he had me sold. I talked about that on the Friday show, that I was like, look, you can see it in this man's eyes. He wants to absolutely destroy Bryce Mitchell, but I got to say, he tried. Like, he really went out there and had every intention of knocking Bryce's block off, but Bryce really was the one who forced the submission. Bryce said, I'm not losing those brain cells, and he shot for takedowns when he was getting cracked, when he was getting hurt. He gave up the neck rather than going out the way he thought he was going to go out. He still ended up sleeping, which, parade for everyone around there who's not a fan of Nazis. It was a good time. It was a good time. Big fan of Gene Silva. And I got a shout out, guy. You guys know Narco Cop. He hasn't been on the podcast for quite some time because our schedules don't quite line up. But probably the best prop show out there is Narco and Tim doing the Lambo Parlays podcast. And they called the Gene Silva sub. And that was a big, thick, juicy number for like the round 2, round 3 subs that they hit. So just gotta tip the cap and shout out my guy Narco and Tim over there for calling that one. What's going on, Dimmu Borgir? Dimmu Burger. I got to be close. I mean, that's got to be close, right? But thank you very, very much. Tony, what's going on? Death Punch saying I'm a legend. I don't know about that, but thank you. I will take it. I absolutely will take it. It does feel good to be back on track, Tony. Thank you very much. Ryan in the chat. We've got Jeff K, Ethan Hershey, also a gentleman coming around saying he owes me those shots. Don't you worry. I know you're good for it, Ethan. We're all good. We'll make it happen. Aaron saying I got all my picks right except for Lopez and Pitbull, which, we'll get to that one. I'm a little irritated about my Pitbull switch up. Louis Mack Jr., what's going on, buddy? Sorry to hear that you had Diego, but definitely glad to hear you made some cash. Regis saying I helped make some cash. Take down the 5 entry on DK. No way. I love hearing that. What is the top prize on the 5 there, Regis? You got to let me know. I don't play enough of the DraftKings to know exactly like what kind of prize pool we're dealing with. So congratulations. I'm very happy to hear that I could help. As you guys know, that's the point of the show. I want to entertain you, and then I want to bring you as much information as I can. So even if I'm not making money, hopefully the info will help get you guys there. Ryan, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys for the prayers for the family. She's okay. Thankfully, it's not like a deathbed type situation. So we're okay. But it's just, older people, unfortunately, sometimes things go wrong and you end up in the hospital for a couple days, and yeah, it's not great. So, like I said, we'll keep the show a little bit short tonight so I can go focus on family and make sure that comes first. I'm going to try. We'll see what the week looks like, obviously, with all the family stuff. But like I said, I did have a show planned for you guys. So I'm going to try to get some additional, not so much betting content out, but a little bit more fun MMA content out for you guys this week while we've got this break opportunity. So we'll see if I can, given all the family stuff. Yo Mas, thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in on the Twitter X platform. Appreciate you. KB saying Patty is for real, and indeed he is. My goodness, Patty the Batty, you guys. I'm sitting pretty, you guys. I feel real good right now. I've got a very, very small, wishing it was bigger right now, degenerate bet on Patty the Batty to be champ at the end of the year, and that's 90-1. I hope you guys watched my beginning of the year, the champion predictions video that I've got here on the YouTube channel, because I am very live on several of my predictions, and we could be looking at some pretty big payouts at the end of the year. And for Patty, I'm just hoping he gets the title shot by the end of the year. Okay, don't do me like they did Marab and Umar last year, where it's the first fight in January that he gets his shot. I need this title shot to be December 2025 so I can at least hedge on the bet. Baby, come on. Regis saying split up $666. There you go. That's what's up. That is what's up. You love to hear it. All right. So guys, let's get into this. Like I mentioned before, we're just going to run through the event last week and just kind of talk through this one. I got to say, going 11-2 on picks this week when everything was very reasonably priced. There were like 2 -300, -400 favorites on this card. Everything else was very tight, very close. Going 11-2 felt really freaking good. First fight of the night was bantamweight, Nora Cornell and Haley Cowan. I couldn't have done a better job of talking about this one, I feel like, because we said that Haley Cowan is not a fighter. We said that Haley Cowan gasses out. We said that Haley Cowan has terrible submission defense, and she got tapped by somebody who doesn't belong in a cage, period, much less a UFC cage. They couldn't make it into the PFL if their life depended on it. And Nora Cornell got controlled for the first round of the fight, and everybody thinking they got value on Haley Cowan, and she immediately gives up her back and gets tapped out in the second round. The one thing that I'll say I messed up up on. I had Nora Cornell in a parlay, which was tied to Jean Silva. Looked like some of the easiest money I've ever come up with. I am really pissed off that I didn't stick to my guns on that submission prop, you guys. I said Nora Cornell was going to hurt her. I said the submission was going to be there because Haley Cowan's just terrible on the ground. And we talked about the cardio and the fact that I simply don't think she's a fighter and she's not UFC level. How did I miss the sub prop? I missed on all my prop parlays this week. Again, we're getting close. Like the reads are right there. They're getting close. But I should have done Nora Cornell by sub. And I don't know why I didn't. I think I got infatuated with some of the more high profile fights that were a little bit later on down the card. But I will continue, you guys, at all costs to fade Haley Cowan. I don't think I'm going to get many more opportunities to fade Haley Cowan. She doesn't belong in the UFC. She can go back to hanging out with her husband, throwing Diddy parties or whatever they're doing. She doesn't belong here. But I will take the opportunity to bet against her in cash tickets every single time. Sign me up. All right. Marco Tulio and Tresean Gore. I was a little bit cautious about this one just because Tulio kind of hasn't really proven himself at this level yet. He kind of hasn't really given me the full green light that I need, that he really is legitimate and he's here. And Gore is getting better. Like he's always in tough spots. He's always in tough fights and he always really tries, and he's got a couple finishes now, even though it's low level. So I didn't want to just completely write off Tresean Gore, but at minus 450, Marco Tulio wasn't somebody I was interested in really getting like balls deep on, but I did pick him to win. So that one turned out pretty well. I mean, it was a pretty good fight. Tresean Gore had a couple of moments. Tulio looks like his cardio checked out. I mean, he might be on a new, he might have a new doctor. He might have a new contact because he was in some serious shape and he did not slow down. This man looked absolutely amazing in that fight, and he handled business. He did exactly what he needed to do. So I'm happy, very, very happy with myself on that one. Trying to kind of take notes, learn, sit back, watch. I think it panned out pretty well to go ahead and take that type of approach on that fight. Sumajiri and Mitch Raposo. You guys know Mitch Raposo is our boy from Spectation Sports. I was really rooting for him. He is now 0-3 in the UFC, including his Dana White's Contender Series fight. All three of those fights are split decisions. Like, oh man. Now you could argue that both of his fights in the UFC, not the Dana White's Contender Series fight, but both his fights in the UFC, maybe they shouldn't have been split decisions. Like there's an argument to be had there. I can listen to that. But the fact of the matter is that he's fighting very closely and very competitively at the UFC level. I mean, I feel like in losses, Mitch Raposo has proven that he belongs. You know, that's kind of my read on it. I hope the kid gets a win. I don't want him to go 0-3 off Contender Series and then get sent back down to Cage Warriors or Cage Titans and then just never make it back because he flared out at the UFC level. He fought Andre Lima, who's a kid that I am extremely impressed with and I think is probably going to be in the contender circle and title conversation very, very soon. And then he went to a split decision with Sumajiri, a guy who, while it's been a little bit up and down, his high moments have been pretty damn high. I mean, he came in with a massive grappling deficiency, but when he's not grappling guys that are at the top level, like Tim Elliott or Charles Johnson, like he's beating everybody else. So, you know, it's one of those ones where I really feel like Mitch showed he belongs, but he's still got to get that win. Like, got to get that dub, Mitch. That was the one that I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger on. Because I said I feel like Mitch Raposo is going to be live in this spot. I feel like Mitch Raposo is going to fight for your money in this spot. I just worry he's not going to be able to get it done. He won't be able to get the wrestling going, or he may not even go to the wrestling as far as part of the game plan goes. So he fought very well. He fought very closely. I actually need to run that fight back. I didn't get to watch all of it, I will confess. So I need to go actually absorb the entire thing with 100% focus on it to really make sure I've got the information accurate here. But I picked him to win. I didn't bet him. And that's something I rarely do, you guys. If I pick an underdog to win, unless there's somebody that really like gives me massive questions, they give me the heebie-jeebies, I've got a real reason not to get my money in there on them. If I am picking them to win, I'm gonna put my money on them, because why wouldn't you? You're getting plus money and you think in your soul they should be a minus 120, minus 125 favorite. Like, the value swing on that is enough. You really should just be getting in there. I held off on this one, but that's because I wasn't sure of the game plan, because I wasn't sure he was going to fight optimally. We know what it takes to fight Sue, and I didn't know if he was going to come in there with that game plan. So dodged a little bit of a bullet on Mitch Raposo. As far it still would have been a winning night for me, but it feels good to lay off on the one underdog that I was going to add to my card that didn't get home. That's the kind of stuff, penny saved, penny earned in this game, right? Like, it feels good for me to have actually saved a couple of units on that. Let me just get caught up here with some of you guys in the chat that are jumping in here. Matt saying that Patty said in an interview it's planned to face Oliveira and fight for the title next year. No, it needs to be fight for the title at the end of the year, Matthew. They're killing me. Oh my goodness. Louis Mack Jr. agreeing that Tulio had a great game plan, did well. AJ also agreeing that he was going to shave the ass of Trayshawn Gorey. I'm not going to say that. He did quite well, and shout out Uncle Wheezy for the ass shaving of the week reference there. I do think that guy is legit. Like, I believe we now have enough information to say that Tulio is legit. We'll see how he does when he gets to step up in competition, because Gore really is growing up right in front of us. He's a guy that's earning his stripes as we speak. He's learning on the job. So we got to make sure that Tulio is legit one more time. Let's see who they match him up with next. But I'm seeing everything I want to see, at least so far, right? That's somebody who I think we can look at and go, I think we're headed the right direction here. Closing out the early prelims, Cedric Dumas and Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Okay. I got a bone to pick here, you guys. I got a bone to pick. So you guys know I've made my statement that I feel Cedric Dumas is somebody who's got some untapped potential, some untapped talent. A lot of this has to do with, his stature, his size, his physicality, etc. I think there's a real chance that he could be better than people are giving him credit for, blah, blah, blah. I've been basically blindly betting on Cedric Dumas since he got to the UFC. Now, he's 3-2 in the UFC, but he's been plus money in almost all of those opportunities. So I'm up muy poquito with my strategy of just betting Cedric Dumas. I laid off this week. I came in on Monday, and it was like, man, this usually would just be a sit down and auto bet type situation for me, right? Like, it's been what I've done every Cedric Dumas fight since I got here. I'm just going to auto bet him at decent plus money. And then I pumped the brakes. Like, this is one of those ones where I finally got smart enough to not blindly follow my own game plan, because the game plan is blindly follow it. And I went, but this ain't the one. There's no point in me burning money for the sake of an argument, right? Like, I do not need to lose actual hard-earned cash just because here in this spot, because I was this close. And then I went, you know what? Oleksiejczuk taking it seriously for the first time ever at the Fighting Nerds, who are doing the damn thing right now. And then the speed. That was the big thing for me, you guys. Cedric Dumas, again, I think the skill set is a little bit underrated. Durable, decent rangy striker, mixing in the grappling, getting better on the floor. Like, all these things are pointing in the right direction. It's just not coming as fast as I want to see it. And I think he is improving, but it's slow going. He's like an iceberg. He's training out of a small gym, guys that aren't UFC caliber necessarily as his training partners. Like, I actually think that my initial projection is getting stifled because of his life choices, which checks out for Cedric, generally speaking. The life choices have been relatively questionable. So I'm having to pump the brakes on my theory here. And I want to pat myself on the back for that, because I dodged a bullet. I could have just donated some money here this week, and somebody got at me in the chat. And this is going back to the beginning of my thing here. I've got a bone to pick, because somebody in the chat was like, bro, like, what is the matter with you? You keep talking up Cedric Dumas, blah, 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 like going in on me. And I was like, I didn't bet him. Like, give me a little bit of credit here. Like, we're positive overall betting Cedric Dumas in his UFC career. and we didn't bet him tonight. So we're not negative. Like, I've had a perfect read on Dumas. He came into one fight high, and that's the reason he lost it. And the referee did not call a massive eye poke that led to a TKO. That's the only reason he lost a second fight. I could be batting 1,000 on Dumas if it wasn't for flukes. And then I literally dodged the bullet that I needed to dodge to show you that I'm not just biased on this guy. So I feel like I should be getting more credit than I'm being given here in this spot. But we'll see what they do with Dumas coming up next. He does have just this mid-tier UFC type of ranking at this point that if they keep giving him these low-level bums, maybe he eventually will turn into something. And to his credit, Oleg Zacic tagged him and knocked him down. And I haven't seen somebody do this since Brock Lesnar. But he was fine. Like, he was covered up. And as far as intelligently defending yourself goes, it doesn't look great when you're not moving. But he was blocking almost every shot that was coming for him for Oleg Zacic. I really feel like he was trying to survive the flurry and wait for Oleg Zacic to slow down because he wasn't hurt at all. He wasn't damaged at all. Like, he had recovered and was just kind of waiting for Oleg Zacic to chill the fuck out. And the ref stepped in and stopped it. Now, I am not saying it was a bad stoppage. I am not at all saying it was a bad stoppage. But what I am saying is one of the reasons I like Dumas is because his chin checks out. So if he continues to improve, he's got the durability. The other skills can catch up. Give him a normal level of competition again, not a guy like Oleg Zacic that's getting a massive step down in competition. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's all going to come down to matchmaking. I'm not going to continue just blindly betting Dumas, but I really do feel like this showing here is going to give me massive value on my next fight. Rebook the Zach Reese fight. Rebook the Zach Reese. Please, I'm begging you. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. Rebook the Zach Reese fight. I'll make so much money if they rebook the Zach Reese fight. I'm telling you. Look at me right in the eyes. I'm spending way too much time talking about Cedric Dumas. But if they rebook the Zach Reese fight and there's a plus number next to Dumas's name, we smash. I promise you he beats Zach Reese. Promise you. It Factor MMA, what's going on? Dumas is Bo Nickel fodder now. Oh no. Yeah, he might be. He honestly might be. That's the kind of thing that they're going to do. Milkman saying Dumas got milked. I love it. Let's see here. Kalani says 4-leg parlay. Ian, Gary, Randy Brown, Damon Black, Sheer, Ming Yang, Zhang. Any real opinion on my last check? Depends on this. Well, okay. First and foremost, don't bet with money that you guys are desperate for. Do not bet with money that you can't afford to lose. That'll put you in a real bad life position and a real quick situation, real quick. That's a problem. Don't do that. I hope you're joking because I'm fine with joking. But really, if it's like this going to your like car or your house payment, don't do that. But let me check here. So Black Shear is fighting Alatang Haley, like that leg. Randy Brown is fighting. Where's Randy Brown? Nicholas Dalby. Ooh, good Lord. So that one scares me because Randy Brown is a pretty regular bed shitter. He's a guy that will fight closer than he should and kind of relies on skating by. And Dalby is the kind of guy that can really pull the upset sometimes. He's a competitor. He comes in, he gets in there, and he really mixes it up. So be careful about that leg. Ming Yang Zhang over Anthony Smith. I mean, Smith's retirement fight, he really should just go out there and wallop the guy. But I do worry a little bit that Ming Yang Zhang is maybe like a round one or bust type prospect. Let me go back and look at him real quick for you. The Mountain Tiger. So he's 26 years old, but he's been knocked out 3 times and submitted twice on the Asian regional scene. This is a road to UFC guy. You guys know that concerns me. Ozzy Diaz is a bum, guys. Ozzy Diaz is a bum. So that win means next to nothing to me. Brinson Haberio, he's turned it around a little bit. I'll give him credit. But he also was kind of bum level territory. And let's not forget, both those guys are like Well, I guess not both of them. Ozzy Diaz is a little older. Brinson Ribeiro actually still has a little bit of time. Maybe he can turn it around. It's probably okay. This is one of those ones where I am programmed to think that there's value on Anthony Smith because I've hit on Anthony Smith so many times throughout the course of his career. Never bet on somebody in their retirement fight. We know for a fact this is Anthony Smith's retirement fight, and Anthony Smith has not looked locked in for like 4 fights in a row now. So it should be okay, but for me, I just got the heebie-jeebies. You know what I mean? And then Ian Gary, that's always tough because that's such a close fight for the main event. It's a pick'em. I don't like anchoring things on pick'em unless it's something I feel like I've got a really, really big time edge on, like a Volkanovski last week or something like that. I do lean towards Ian Gary, but you guys, Prates has taken my lunch money. Like ever since he's been in the UFC, this guy should not be doing what he does. He loses damn near every minute of the fight until he switches on, and then he just murders the guy in front of him. And I can't wrap my brain around it. Like he keeps on pulling one out of his ass and gets a finish when he needs a finish. So it worries me. He's got real good takedown defense. Ian Gary's been working real hard on his grappling, but he's still not great at it yet. The striking should be relatively competitive. I think Ian Gary's going to win minutes, but he's really low volume as well. So all it's going to take is a couple of big shots coming the other way to maybe swing rounds. And like we mentioned before, the fighting nerds are all the rage right now. The UFC has already kind of sold a little bit on Ian Gary. So this feels like a Prates spot where they're trying to prop him up. For me, it is Ian Gary or pass. Just, again, we're a week out. I haven't done all my research yet. So it's Ian Gary or pass for me at the moment. But I don't know that I would use it to anchor the 4-leg parlay personally. So yeah, Ian Gary, sketchy unless you really feel confident about it. Randy Brown is the one that I have serious questions for you on. Be careful with that Randy Brown leg. Back to our Dumas conversation. Rusty is not in the chat right now, but I know he's going to get at me in the comment section. So Rusty, I'm thinking about you, buddy. I know you're going to have something to say about this. AJ saying Dumas stinks. I know. Jeff was agreeing with me that tempted on Anthony Smith. Yeah, it's a really questionable spot. I need to go back and look at Min Yang Zhang again. I need to rewatch all of his tape because there's a chance that what's the guy's name that Anthony Smith tapped the fuck out that everyone was all in on? Vitor Petrino. When he jumped the guillotine and he tapped him out in the first round, like this could be an Asian Vitor Petrino where this guy is just hell on wheels for one round and then after that, it's all up in the air. And Anthony Smith is a guy that just refuses to go away. So if he can survive round one, that fight gets scary in a hurry. D, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Good to see you, my guy. All right, moving along. So we got to the preliminary card here now. And just rest in peace. Darren Elkins, my man, hang it up. Call it quits. It's over, buddy. I love the damage. I love Darren Elkins. He's my guy. Me and Lucrative talked about one last ride this week with Darren Elkins. I wanted one more, man. I wanted one more with my boy. It wasn't meant to be. It was not meant to be. Julian Erosa, I picked him to win, but I didn't like the price tag, mostly because of the durability and because of the fact that he likes to go to his back and play guard, and that's perfect for Darren Elkins to take somebody down and get on top of them. Another one where I feel like I did a good job not wasting my money. I kept my hands in my pockets. I was this close to betting on Darren Elkins, decided not to. And the KO came home for Erosa. I told you guys it wasn't going to be the sub, right? I told you guys it wasn't going to be the sub because you cannot submit Darren Elkins, even at this stage of his life. But Juicy J, just too long, too quick, too much power. Thank God Elkins, they stopped that fight because he was losing brain cells by the second as that thing got going. So glad they brought a halt to it. They saved my poor man's life there. Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. I am really, free 22. Love you too. Appreciate you. Oh, and Kalani, you're very welcome. Very welcome. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it. Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. I'm disappointed that Hooper inside the distance didn't come through, you guys. That's the one thing that I'm real miffed that Hooper inside the distance didn't make its way to me because I feel like it really should have. I really feel like it should have come through. He had every opportunity. Well, I mean, I don't want to talk ill of Jim Miller. And this is, on the Monday podcast, it was kind of the same thing. I don't want to talk ill of Jim Miller. nothing but respect for the guy. And he's out there doing the damn thing at 42 years old, fighting with a guy way bigger than him, half his age. So nothing but respect. But Jim Miller was exhausted at the end of that fight. Round 3, I really feel like Chase Hooper was trying to like send a message. I think he wanted to have that I submitted the great and powerful Jim Miller moment, because he kept going for like fancy leg locks and stuff that, you maybe would think that Jim is not quite cut out for defending, instead of just getting on top of him and elbowing him to death. Somebody replied on the YouTube channel, he indeed threw no elbows. And I know, I'm so tired. I'm so sad. He indeed did not throw a single elbow. And I'm very, very disappointed that he threw no elbows, because I really thought that he was going to throw some serious elbows. I think he could have won the fight if he had thrown some elbows. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We took a stab at it, right? We took a shot at it. He could have gotten my round 3 TKO home for me. He really could have, but I think he had a little bit of what shall we say, mercy on Jim Miller. And I think he was really striving for greatness. I think he was trying to submit Jim Miller and have that on his resume. So it is what it is. MMA Clips saying, do you like Michelle Pereira over Abus Magomedov at -165? I put 5 units on Pereira money line already. And MMA Clips, again, I haven't done my research, so take all this with a grain of salt. Yes, Michelle Pereira has shown at 185 pounds that he's a different monster than he was at 170. His gas tank looks like it's a lot better. And Abus is a guy who death gasses unless he is really controlling the pace of a fight. That's a fun fight, but I do think Michelle Pereira is the side. I do think he should be favored here in this spot. Maybe Abus has more finishing power early, but I think that Michelle Pereira is durable enough that he'll be able to tank that early damage. And it's weird saying that Pereira cardio guy, right? But I think the longer that fight goes, the more it should favor Michelle Pereira. Dylan disagreeing with us says, hell no, Abus baby. Well, good luck. I don't have a bet on it yet. MMA Clips does. I don't, but that's the early top of the brain type of read. Milkman saying, imagine what Hooper would have done if he didn't goon all camp. Oh, well, I know you of all people, Milkman, have a problem with him milking his entire camp. I mean, Mike Harrington in the house. What's up, Mike, buddy? We got to get you back on the show, dude. I was thinking about you the other day. He said, congrats on the huge night, big dog. Shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for tuning it in. Raw Torque saying, always holding it down for the diehards. That's what's up. That's what I'm here for. You guys know I got your back. Let's see here. Getting caught up. Free 22 said I had Reyes Silva, Patty Oleksiejczuk, Lopez, and Lopez cost me. Damn. A lot of people went down that way. And that right there is why, like, when there's that last leg and it's either even money or plus money, I'm so cautious of doing that. I want to anchor all my parlays on like the over 2.5 in the main event, right? Something that's you know what? Actually, it was decently priced on this one, but it's a Volk fight, right? So you're expecting it to go to the later rounds. Like I want to -400 as the last leg of my parlays, because then you can hedge if you need to. You can put a little bit on like a +350, and then it's real easy to make sure you're not in a bad position, and you can still leave a lot to be cashed when you're right. Local Man Shakes Fist says, how can we say his cardio has improved at 185 when the one fight he went past the first round, he gassed out hard in round 2? And Local Man, that is fair. Like I said, I have not done my research. I'm being asked questions a week in advance on my show. And I tell you guys, I got to run the tape. I always got to run the tape, because your brain plays tricks on you. You think you remember, you think you know what fighters look like, and you think you know what their last fight was like. And then you actually go back and you review it. And sometimes you just totally your eyes get opened up to new experiences. And you're like, I missed that the first time. I don't really remember Michelle Pereira's last fight. I need to go watch. I remember the 2 or 3 fights before that, because I worked really hard on those ones studying. But the last fight, I haven't watched it since it happened. And I actually think that night I had something going on, so I may not have even viewed it the night it happened. So I have no memory of his last fight right now. I got to go do my work. Oh, he went 5 rounds with Fluffy. Yeah. And that's, bro, I mean, Fluffy gasses everybody out. That's what you got to give him a little bit of faith. You got to give him a little bit of grace for going with Fluffy, because Fluffy's gonna just gas everybody. Abus couldn't have that game plan if he prayed his entire life. Like, right, he can go to Dagestan and forget for 6 years and still wouldn't be able to pull that shit off. K deep. What's going on? Dean saying Trayshawn Gore has died. What a tragedy. I hope you're joking. I laughed at that. I don't know that that's a joke. I hope that's a joke because I was not expecting that comment. That was an awkward laugh, not a that's funny laugh. So I hope that is not the case. My goodness. All right, guys, moving right along. Oh, real quick. Degenerate action, you guys. We got 10 minutes. If you guys are looking to get on anything degenerate, you guys know me. I love my Coyotes. I love my hockey. I love my NHL. Game kicks off in 5 minutes. Utah Hockey Club, formerly the Coyotes, they're playing the Nashville Predators. And my boy, Nick Schmaltz, is trying to get to 20 goals on the season. They're out of the playoff run. It's all over but the crying. Like, they're done for the season. They don't even have another home game for the rest of the year. So they're just out there playing for exercise right now. And so it's like at the end of the football season where you get those incentives for a certain amount of catches, certain amount of yards, certain amount of touchdowns, etc. Schmaltz is trying to get to 20 goals. He's like plus 250, plus 260 to score a goal tonight. And Nashville, they ain't playing for shit right now. They haven't had anything to play for the entire season. So Nick Schmaltz goal tonight. Starts in like 5 minutes. So if you want to rock with me on some degenerate shit, that's what we're doing. Let's see here. Okay, so Chase Hooper didn't get me my round 3 TKO. I feel like he could have, probably should have, didn't. Makes me a little sad, but it is what it is. Verna Janjidova, baby. Ooh, hey, could we have gotten this one any better? Like, could we have nailed this fight any more than we did? Verna came out and said, Yan, girl, sit your ass down. Like, whoo! It was a minus 140 price tag, and you had people out there who were just clamoring about this one, trying to make this thing a big deal, trying to say that she's not somebody that you can trust. I mean, this was a ridiculous situation. And you know, I can be cocky and say this in hindsight, right? I was right about Verna Janjidova. I was right. It could have gone the other way. But that's where the homework pays off, man. Especially, you know, if anyone thinks I don't do my research, if anyone thinks I don't do my work, like, we knew Verna was not going to take no for an answer against Yan Jianan. She was getting those takedowns, and she damn near got that sub. Like, she had her in so much trouble. Verna's nasty on the mat, you guys. And I made a meme. I know it was a joke. I made a meme, but I really feel like Verna's Bilal right now because they don't like her. They think she's boring. Everyone thinks she's just, decision again. Like, it's boring. But it wouldn't have been boring if Yan had tapped. A round 1 sub is sexy. Everybody loves a good round 1 submission. Yan was tough enough not to give it to her, but lesser women get tapped by Verna in the first or second round in that fight. She did exactly what she needed to do. She got the win. And yeah, I felt real good about that one. We'll see what happens. Verna should be next for the title. They got to give this girl the title. I'm going to be real pissed off if they make her fight like Tatiana coming off a loss or something, because they'll do everything they can to keep her away from the belt at this point. But I think she's like Bilal, where she's just going to have to become undeniable. She's going to have to beat everybody they put in front of her and somehow still have the gumption to be able to beat Father Time back for a year or two and be able to win that title, because they tried to age my boy Bilal out. They tried. They were like, we're not giving you that title shot until you're 36, 37 years old, bro. Like, you're not getting it in your prime. And he said, okay, bet, and took it anyway. Like, that's what Verna's going to have to do. They're going to put her in the worst position possible. Dad bod, what's up? Why is this a thing? Why is this? like 3-4 weeks ago, somebody jumped in the chat and gave me the old emoji, and I did it. And now everybody every week hits me with it, and I gotta do it. I don't know why this became a thing, but I'm into it. We'll keep rolling there. Dean asking thoughts on Ovi getting the goal record. That was freaking cool. My thought was, what the hell, Ovi? take the empty netter, buddy. I had the hat trick prop the night that he got the 2 goals and he needed one more goal. He refused to take an empty net goal because he felt like it would sully the award. So from like a competitor, from an athlete standpoint, I respect the hell out of that approach. But that night I had the Ovi hat trick prop. It was a big number. Would have been real fun to hit that, and he cost me. So really, Ovi's in the doghouse, but no, the dude's a legend for real. It was really cool to see. It was freaking awesome to watch. Nobody like Ovi out there. It's going to be a long time before we see anybody even close coming up to go ahead and do that. K Deep saying Verna looked good. Definitely showed there's levels. Absolutely. Let's see here. Yeah, Milkman saying real ones know V-Dog was a lock. Yeah, it was so weird to me. Everybody piling in on Yan and making arguments for her. I was like, have you guys seen her wrestle? Like, this is not going to end well. And then but you know what? I got spooked with the price kept on coming down. I was like, man, like me and all my friends, people who I think are intelligent and sharp, like all the guys I talked to, guests on the show, everyone's agreeing with me that Verna's the angle, and the number just kept going down and kept going down. I was like, shit, like people are out here betting Jan, like maybe somebody, because our circle is so small. Like we think we've got a big circle, but at the end of the day, the internet is a very big place. And there's a lot of people who are not on the internet, people who take this shit more seriously than I do. I do 3 podcasts a week talking about MMA. And there's people out there that put real money on this stuff, that take it more seriously than I do. And those are the people that actually affect the market, right? So I was horrified that we had gotten it wrong. And one of these big honchos out there was the one that really had it right and was going to be taking home the bag because they were on Yan. Turns out we were the smart ones, though. So go us. Dirty Reg says gained respect for Gore. Absolutely. I mean, he belongs. He belongs. He really does. Hope he gets on a run here, because it would be kind of cool to see him really capture that potential that he's got. But they keep giving him tough fights, man. Guy with low experience, and they're giving him some really, really hard fights. All right. Dan Ige and Sean Woodson. Okay. So there's a little bit of drama about this one, right? Sean Woodson gets TKO'd in round 3. I cashed my $50K Dan Ige. Y'all must have forgot kind of bet. Yeah, felt good. The dogs were barking. I'm pissed off I didn't play the Danny Gay KO and frankly the round 2, round 3 KOs, because I kind of talked about it. I thought he was going to get to Woodson with like the body work and stuff, and that's really what did it. He hit Woodson with a big body shot, and that tall man folded up like a ladder. He was bent over trying to shoot a takedown on a man a quarter of his height. Like, it was ridiculous to see Sean Woodson look at his elbows or his knees are up past his ears, like trying to get down low enough to hit a takedown on Dan Ige. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was an early stoppage. I will admit it was an early stoppage. But when the numbers dropped, all 3 judges had it 2-0 for Dan Ige. Now that's where, MMA clip saying I had Woodson winning. I will tell you guys, I thought it was 1-1. I legitimately believed it was 1-1. I gave round 1 to Woodson, and I thought Dan Ige had done enough to kind of stem the tide and turn things around in round 2. So I had it 1-1 going into 3. I thought Dan Ige needed to win round 3, but I liked the momentum. Sean Woodson really looked to me like he was running scared there at the end of round 2. So it's one of those ones to me where after the scorecards come out, I don't necessarily agree with the judges' scorecards, but I felt like Dan Ige had all the momentum and was on his way to winning the fight. Turns out the judges thought he was up 2 rounds, so I was in no danger of losing the fight. And even though it was a bit of an early stoppage, I kind of felt like that's what was inevitably on its way, because Dan Ige was hurting Woodson in the 3rd round, where we know that's Woodson's worst round. He always gets finished if he gets finished in the 3rd round, and he gets hurt in the 3rd round a lot. So I don't know. It's one of those ones where for me, like, yeah, it was an early stoppage, but I felt like the right guy won. I felt like the right side won, and everything was pointing towards him being the one who was going to win. So, I'm not too shaken up about it. For the people who had Sean Woodson, I can understand why, you want to see your guy get out there. You want to see him go out on his shield. You want to give him the opportunity to win the fight for you if he can. I get all of that. I really do. So, fair, right? Like, you should maybe have given the guy the opportunity. Oh man, Dream beat the line move by a mile, had Woodson plus 110. Sorry about that, buddy. That is tough. But we always talk about it. You did your job. You did your job. You got an amazing number. Sharp people. I talked with my guy Andrew from Superbook Sports. Some of their sharper bettors, the people they take big action from so they can properly line these things to make money, were coming in on Woodson at minus 125. So you beat like the sharp people that were moving the market, getting that plus 110. That long term is going to pay off. People hate talking about long term. Gamblers, they want to win their money now. They want to win their money tonight, and nothing else matters. If you're processed and you're beating numbers that much, like, you're going to do well. That money will work its way back to you eventually. That was the right move. So congratulations on getting that through, because you did your job, and that's all we can do. You can't get in there and fight for him. So, you did what you could. Dylan saying, Clint, are we sprinkling on Anthony Smith via sub one more time versus Zhang? Maybe, Dylan. Maybe. I haven't done my tape yet. I got to go check out Zhang. I got to look at some of his grappling transitions. I got to see kind of what he looks like. He doesn't get extended very often, and I think there's a big question to that, because there's a real chance that Anthony Smith might be able to weather the early storm and then grab a neck the way he tends to do in some of these fights. It's a retirement fight, so I'm not going to be going big or looking to smash or anything like that in this kind of a spot, because Smith really is done, and he's been done for a while, and it's all over but the crying. He's going to hang it up after this one. So I'm not looking to get crazy, but yeah, there's a chance we play the sub prop, because if he's going to win, that would kind of be the way that he would do it. Main card for last week's event here, you guys. We'll wrap up this recap of UFC 314. Nikita Krylov and Dom Reyes. I just bring it in. Bring it in. Come on. Where's the applause, baby? I could not have called this fight any better. This was one of just like top 5 breakdown previews from your boy, and I will take all of the applause and adulation for this one. Nikita Krylov is a bum. Bro should have stayed on the right side of history over there in Ukraine. Instead, he betrays and goes over to Russia and then gets his ass knocked out. Like, that's how it goes, buddy. You join the villains. I still remember Rocky IV. He had all the good juice. Do you see how shredded this guy was coming into the fight? He's just not that good, you guys. He's just not that good. I keep telling people this. Nikita Krylov is a gatekeeper. The man is 30-10. 30-10. He's been submitted 6 times. He's been knocked out twice now. And I literally called the left hook, because this guy gets wild. I mean, he gets in there and he like spam windmills punches, looking for any type of spot to land, just anything to close the distance, desperate to get the fight to the ground. And Dom Reyes 2.0, mind you, this more defensive-minded Dom Reyes, who's looking to save some of that chin durability and protect that brain a little bit. He kept the space, he kept the distance, and as soon as Nikita came in with those big wheeling punches, left hook from Hades, baby. Oh, that felt good. I'm so happy Dom is back on track. I'm happy he's on a 3-fight win streak. We have cashed plus money tickets on this guy through this resurrection process he's on. So we are riding the Dom Reyes wave right now, and it feels so good. We got the dog of the week home again, which I screwed up last week with Cortavius Romeus coming out there the way he did. I screwed up. So it feels good to hit someone like Dom Reyes, and especially when I was on an island. I know maybe 2 people like all week that were like, yeah, maybe you got a point. Like, nobody gave Dom Reyes a chance in this spot. Absolutely nobody gave Dom Reyes a chance in this spot. And that kind of scared me off making a bigger bet, if I'm being honest with you guys, because I was going to like max bet Dom Reyes. When this fight got announced, like when it just straight up got booked, I looked at it and went, that's a max bet right there. Dom Reyes should be favored, and they're going to give me plus money. I kind of chickened out on that because, again, I've been on a rough patch. I'll fully admit to you guys, it's been a rough year or so. Finally starting to work my way out of it. So I can't be overly confident, right? Like I can't put my nuts on anybody's forehead right now or anything like that. So I need to not throw away max bets. I need to make sure I'm doing the right thing in these spots. So I had a 3-unit play instead of being a 1 or a 2-unit play. So I did get that extra 1 unit home there on that. So that felt good. but feels really, really good. The one thing I will say I did mess up on throughout the week, I found an interview with Dom Reyes and he talked about his underrated wrestling and stuff like that. So when I did my Hail Mary parlays at the end of the week, I should have just shipped it, right? Like I should have absolutely been able to just have faith in my own read and go, you know what? It's Dom Reyes by knockout. It's Ige by knockout. And then I would have anchored it all on Silva by knockout. So it still would have lost. Like I'll fully admit to you guys that I still would have lost that third leg because I would have done Gene Silva by KO as the final leg. But it would have felt good at least to have gone with the KO. And instead, I threw Dom Reyes by decision into the mix there. So I did mess that up just a little bit on my way out the door. I talked myself into maybe this thing will go long, maybe he'll wrestle, maybe there's going to be some grappling. So missed opportunity there to get the KO, but the money line was plenty. The money line was good enough. Felt great. And then Bryce Mitchell going to sleep. You love to see it. And again, I got this one so right. Gene Silva came so prepared. This guy's a freak, you guys. I could not believe the amount of people falling for the plus money on Bryce Mitchell. That smelled like such bullshit to me. That was a trap straight out the gate, man. Everybody was ready to pile in and be like, no way this line should be this wide. And goodness gracious, like Gene Silva is a monster, you guys. He is the monster under the bed right now. This guy is a problem. This guy is a real problem for the division. I am very much looking forward to the future of Gene Silva's career. This guy is going to be a title holder, like not challenger, holder. If he keeps this momentum up, he's a freak. He is strong. He can grapple. The ninja choke, the guillotine, the squeeze. The fact that he didn't burn his arms out with all those chokes and still was swinging bombs that Bryce Mitchell was scared of getting caught with. Dude's an animal. Love him. Absolutely love Bryce Mitchell. And, aforementioned, I have no problem saying I enjoy watching Nazis go unconscious. So it felt good for Bryce to get some more humble pie there, buddy. Sit down. Shut your mouth a little bit. Yair Rodriguez and Patricio Pitbull. Sorry about that. This is the one that I talked myself into. This is the one that, I can't have a perfect card, you guys. I'm incapable of having a perfect card. I, again, called this fight perfectly on Monday. I could have gone 12-1 on this card, 13-1, 12-1. I could have gone 12-1 on this card. I picked Yair Rodriguez on Monday. And I said, I think Pitbull's just too old. And then throughout the week, my hatred of Yair Rodriguez got me. My willingness to go to the well of Yair Rodriguez cannot grapple. The Yair Rodriguez breaks. My hope to watch the guy get knocked out and embarrassed on television again. All of it got to me. And I did catch an interview where Pitbull said he knows the game plan. He's going to put the optimal game plan into effect here, and he's going to knock out Yair Rodriguez. He's going to use his wrestling. And that was the big thing, is I was like, man, Pitbull never wrestles. You look at his last 4 or 5 fights in Bellator, he just doesn't wrestle anymore. And that's why I wanted to pick Yair. But hearing him say, I'm going to wrestle, I was like, that's all I need, bro. That's all I need. He did come out and he followed the right game plan. So props to Pitbull for following the right game plan. But he's worn goods, you guys. It's sad to say. Pitbull is such an incredible fighter, and he was amazing. But at this point, he's shop worn. Even with exactly the right game plan, he just couldn't get it done against a younger, larger fighter. And that's it. That's if you've got the right game plan and you can't get it done, that's it. So I got my money's worth. He did everything I wanted him to. He shot 4 or 5 takedowns, looking for the trips and the dumps. I thought he was going to have more success grappling. If he had more success grappling, that fight goes differently. But the sense of urgency wasn't there. He was a bit slower. He was a bit hesitant. And I will give props to Yair Rodriguez where they're due. You guys know I try to be as unbiased as I can, even if I don't necessarily have love for a fighter, outside the cage. I will give props to where it's due. Yair does look like he's made improvements. He did look like he did a better job with his grappling and takedown defense. Now, he was fighting an elderly Pitbull, so, maybe it was more of what Pitbull was missing than what Yair has improved on, but it looked better. So I'll go ahead and give him his credit where it's due. Tone, what's going on, Tone? Tuning in from Twitter. Appreciate you, buddy. Good to see you here. Let's see here. Catching up. Dirty Red got some stuff here. Yeah, I mean the bigger guys, it was a weird situation this week, right? You know, height isn't everything. That's the thing. Like, yeah, what Woodson was massive, didn't matter. Like that's sometimes, I mean, if skills are equal, size and weight matter. So if two people are the exact same level of skill, which is rare, but if they are, then the guy who weighs 10 pounds more is going to have an advantage because he's just a little bit stronger. He can do a little bit more. He can push you backwards. You can't push him backwards because you're the same level of skill. That's how that works. So if you've got a more skilled fighter that's smaller, they still winning most of the time. You got to make sure you're careful with that size thing. And that's why, honestly, guys, when I do my undefeated post weigh-in shows on Friday, it's the low level fights. It's the low level fights when I'm like, that guy's freaking huge. Those are the ones that really entice me because if I don't know that you're the same skill level, if you're both new, if you both suck, if I don't know that you're way better than your opponent, I'm going to pick the big guy. That's how it goes. That's the Torres Finney fight. He was hanging on for dear life. He was doing everything he could. Just drag that man to the ground. He barely survived that fight. Why? Because he's tiny. His opponent was huge. They were roughly the same skill, right? One wrestling, one MMA. The wrestling won out because he was able to get takedowns when he needed it. But if he had run out of gas just, 2 minutes earlier, Rob Zilla probably finishes the guy late in that fight. Like that's where the size comes into play. That's where the size matters. It can be a problem. Pardon me. All right. Co-main event, Chandler, Patty the Batty. What is there to say? What is there to say? I'm a happy camper, you guys. I got 90-1 on Patty the Batty to be champ at the end of 2025. We'll see if I can get there. Some people are already saying in the comments that I guess Patty wants to take on Charlie O and then look for the title in 2026. And I hope that that is not true. I hope that that's not the case. I need a blockbuster end of year 2025 showdown. That's what I need. Because if we're playing 2026, I'm going to be real sad when I'm not able to cash a 90-1 ticket or I'm not able to hedge a 90-1 ticket because that was really the point of that bet, you guys. When I made the bet, the point was give me a chance because at 90-1, there's a big time middle there. If we get a November or December fight card and I can just lay the lumber on whoever Patty is fighting against, I can lock up myself a sexy middle of the road spot where I don't even have to sweat it. And I can guarantee I've got cash. So very impressed with Patty, I will say. His striking has come along leaps and bounds. Now, he's obviously still not a power striker. And that's something that people need to keep in mind. That's something people need to remember. Yes, Michael Chandler is very hard to knock out. He was a bloodied mess by the end of that fight. And yes, the record will show that Patty had a TKO victory. However, it was a knee that busted his cheek up, and it was exhaustion and ground and pound that led to a finish. So he's still not like left hook Larrying people and taking people's heads off the way that they would have you believe. So just a note that Patty, I think is still more dangerous via sub, still more dangerous via ground and pound. Point proven, tip the cap, improvements being made, give the credit where it's due. But we just need to be forewarned moving forward. This was a great spot for him to show off his striking and get a KO. He's not necessarily a KO artist. All right. Main event though, Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. I mean, both guys did what they needed to do. This is just a spot that, and again, I will pat myself on the back a little bit. I couldn't have been more right about this spot. It came down to whether or not Volkanovski's chin was toast. Lopez hit him a couple of times, dropped him once early. Volk made the adjustments that he needed to make in that fight, made sure that same opportunity wasn't there for him the next time they went out there. So he is just an all kinds of championship caliber fighter. That's what this man is. So I love Alexander Volkanovski. We're all going through some tough times right now. Like everybody stuff's kind of sucks for a lot of us. There's something heartwarming about Volk having his belt back. I love Diego. You guys know I bet on Diego ever since he's been to the UFC. I did not bet the fight with Ige because of the 24-hour short notice thing. And this is the first time I've bet against Diego, not counting his debut. I did have Movsar Evloev in a parlay that night. First time I bet against Diego. So I love this guy. I want him to have his opportunity, and I think maybe he'll get there. He's young enough; he can get back up here. But it feels good to have a wholesome, awesome guy like Alexander Volkanovski with gold around his waist. That's something that I think makes me a little different from the vast majority of MMA fans. There's a lot of people out there who, just worship the ground. Guys like John Jones, walk on, and Yair Rodriguez, another perfect example. I value championship caliber people. I value good people, a good heart, people who go and do wonderful things for their communities. And that's guys like Daniel Cormier. That's guys like Volkanovski. And I don't think we have enough of them these days. So the fact that he is the elite fighter that he is, he's the GOAT of this weight class. The man is unquestionable. And he's the champion again. Just feel good, man. Like, yeah, it felt good to cash a bet. But it's nice to see a guy like that with gold wrapped around his waist representing our sport. Good times. Real good times. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We're closing in on 300 live viewers here, which I know that's lower than our normal shows, but for a non UFC event kind of week, not bad. Not bad. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. You guys make this, you make my world go round. If it wasn't for you guys, tuning in, supporting me every week, having fun watching this sport with me, I wouldn't be doing it. So I appreciate you guys. I really, really do. Jeff, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know if he was fanboying. I mean, maybe. Unfortunately, this is the problem with the sport of MMA. People have thoughts and beliefs and stuff like that you don't necessarily agree with, right? But all I've got to go off of is the words and actions of Volkanovski. So, you know what I mean? So if he's got some other stuff going on there behind closed doors, I don't have knowledge of it, so I can't speak to it, but I would say he's better than some other people who are open about those kinds of things. Dream and MMA Clips, appreciate you guys in a big, big way. I'm going to go take care of the family, you guys. Again, I apologize. I've got a couple of shows that I want to do for you, some stuff planned that I just haven't been able to get done yet because of personal life situations and things like that. So hopefully this show is good enough for you for now. If I have time later this week, I will try to get another episode of something out there for you guys because we don't have a whole lot going on this week. I will tell you that there is a PFL card, so maybe we'll do some kind of a short little preview for that if I can find the time to research it. But we will be back in earnest next week on Monday right here for the Die Hard MMA podcast. Again, love you guys, appreciate you guys. Get out there, be good, keep your heads up, surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with supportive people that are going to lift you up when you've got a tough time, and then be there and do the same for them. That's the way to survive this world, you guys. Make good friends, support your people, make sure they're people that are going to support you back when you need it. And I appreciate you guys. You guys are my circle. And with you guys being here with me, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less about all the other people out there, the people that talk shit, the people that want to dunk on me, the people that want to frame me as something that I'm not. I got you guys. Here in my chat, and that's all I need. So appreciate the hell out of you guys, really, from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you next time. Let's roll.